Hello and welcome to the latest webinar in our series of education videos and webinars for education and schools. I'm here today with Ashley Harrold, CEO of Inspired Online Schools. So Ashley, lovely to speak to you today. So we're going to discover in this interview why InterHigh is perfect for King's InterHigh is perfect for expatriate children and families on international assignment, as well as, of course, of international families who are on the move, and there are a lot of them these days, who are needing a flexible lifestyle. So firstly, can you just outline what ages and curriculum you use at the school?
Absolutely. Lovely to talk to you today, Fiona. So at King's InterHigh, we cover the Key Stage 2 to 5 curriculum. So in other words, year 3 in primary school, all the way through to year 13. So in primary school and in Key Stage 3, so that's age 7 through to about 11, we cover a British curriculum that aligns well to the UK school curriculum. In Key Stage 4, we offer IGCSE qualifications, which are the internationally recognised GCSEs. And then at A-level, so in sixth form, we have both A-level courses and the IB diploma programme. So both of those programmes in our sixth form.
Yes, and that's all very exciting and just what our audience will want to hear all about. So this is all about how children can flourish in whatever environment they're in. So a lot of people are moving again and have busy jobs and experiences around the world. This is happening across many different industry sectors. So it's great. There must be a huge amount of technology advancements in online learning. So families will know a bit about it, but may really not understand the sort of sophistication of what you can offer pupils of all ages.
Yes, absolutely. And I think some people maybe have a sort of view of online learning that was formed perhaps during the pandemic when schools needed to move online. And actually, online learning has been a growing area for a very long time now. King's InterHigh was founded back in 2005. So we've got a lot of experience of what makes really good online learning and the things to avoid. So to explain to viewers what it is that we cover, we have fully trained UK teachers, exactly the same sort of qualification route that you would have to teach in a physical school. We use live teaching, so the lessons are all taught live to a timetable. There's some flexibility about when those lessons are for individual students, so you can sort of match them to your life and what's going on around you. But the lessons are to the same standard as you would have in a physical school. In terms of what supports that, we've got a huge amount of technology to help the young people make progress. And so we've got obviously a huge amount of experience and a team that looks at making sure that learning is engaging, learning is progress driven and leads to great outcomes. And the key aspect of this for us as well is that we're non-selective. We're a non-selective school, and we welcome students from all backgrounds and all contexts. And it makes it a very global school community, as you say, united by people who are there because online fits their needs and fits the flexibility they're looking for, whether that's about relocation or any number of reasons, really. It's a very flexible way of receiving the same quality of education as you would do in a physical school. And of course, the major benefit is that education moves with you. So you have the consistency of the same teacher, the consistency of the classmates, the friendship groups, and that stays with the student no matter where in the world they are.
And you're part of the Inspired school group, so I think you also have connections with them that must bring access to a lot more cultures and young people from around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So Inspired Education is a group of over 80 premium international schools that are based in over 24 countries around the world. And so our ability to connect the students together with other peers, either sort of near to them or actually quite the opposite, the other side of the world, is really brilliant, and it makes for a really exciting community. We also benefit massively from the kind of skill and expertise across that network. So our teachers can join in with professional development with the teachers from these other schools. We can look at learning innovation from all around the world and really take the best practice and use it in the online school. So it's a very big part of our success.
And I think recent developments enable you to use different time zones. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. This is one of the things that makes it truly global. So originally it was a UK time zone. So we did have families who would get up very early or join us very late in the day, depending on where they were, but it wasn't optimal. So a couple of years ago now, we launched a Gulf Standard Time Zone, which has been very successful with families in the Middle East and beyond. But from September next year, we're actually launching our first Asia Pacific, a Southeast Asia timetable as well. So you can join live lessons wherever you are in time zone. And actually, that added flexibility will really make this an excellent offer for families who are travelling or who are internationally based.
And of course, with the growth that's going on in those parts of the world, there will be a lot of organisations, companies, manufacturing, etc., who are changing and growing their markets in Asia and of course the Middle East, but also due to changes in supply chains and different operating systems, it's great that people can actually continue an education wherever they are in the world.
Well, you're absolutely right, and it's one of the major tensions for a family if they are looking to take advantage of the growth in those areas of the world and relocate. Education is so important to parents. It's often the number one thing that they'll be concerned about for their children. So the ability to have an education that's portable, an education that's flexible, but that maintains high quality standards is quite a game changer for lots of families.
So that's another thing that appeals to people on online schools, that you can enrol at any time. So that gives flexibility. The quality of the education, I'm sure you're going to tell us a bit more about that, but also fitting in with lifestyles, not only of the family, as we know a lot of international families are in flex and may arrive in a region, say Asia, or in one country and then have to move to another, so that makes it very transportable. But what about the flexibility for the young people as well? Tell us a bit about the different students and why they need flexibility.
Well, I mean, absolutely, lots in there to pick apart, Fiona. Let's start with that flexibility for students. So one of the things that we can do differently to perhaps the traditional school is that we can offer a much wider range of subjects. We're not really as limited in terms of what we need to fit into one timetable. We can have teachers able to teach all of the major qualification routes. So just the very fact of offering A-levels and IB, for example, not many schools are in the position to be able to have both pathways, but we extend that flexibility all the way through to an individual student subject offering. So all the way through from year 7 onwards, students can select their package of subjects. So if there's a subject they really want to try that they've not tried before, they can opt into it. There's no sort of prior need to have studied it. But equally, if there's a subject that just isn't for them, they don't have the kind of traditional school timetable where you have everything on there. You can reduce a subject, you can add a different one in. And so the students on their level get huge flexibility about prioritizing their area of interest. And we do find young people who already know their pathway, they know what they're interested in. But equally, for those that don't, they get to sample a far wider range and really explore what it is that would work for them. You mentioned sort of teaching quality and how we make sure that's right. Obviously, we have students sitting exams at the end of their qualifications. That's one of the tests of whether or not we've done a good job. But we have a full internal process for quality assurance in terms of the lessons. All of our lessons are recorded, so they're all taught live, but obviously they then are there as a resource for students to go back to. So if something comes up during the day, or if there's a commitment that a student has outside of school, they don't miss out on the learning. They can go back to the recording, which is interactive, and they can catch up. But just in terms of our exam outcomes, they are very good. They are above the UK national average for comparable schools, above the physical school average, both at the top grades, at the grades 7 to 9, and also at the pass rate. So for a non-selective school, we're very, very proud of the outcomes that the students achieve.
Great. And on the technology, this is a huge topic when it comes to education. Things like the metaverse, AI, classroom setups, all sorts of things, not to mention all the ed tech that's around. So can you just paint a bit of a picture about this exciting world there is for both the learners, the teachers, and of course preparing young people for the future?
Absolutely. It's such an exciting time in terms of technology. Even just over the past sort of 6 months, there's been a real explosion in the potential technology can have upon education through things like AI, for example. But we have a really sort of diligent process to how we select our technology. There's so much out there in terms of things that you can use that we're very, very selective about selecting the best ones for our school and for our setting. We do have about 170 different pieces of software that students can access, but that sounds incredibly overwhelming. And it can be, from a student perspective, the last thing you want is for them to be confused about what's going on or to not know where to go for it. So we actually bring together those into a student hub, and we have a version of a parent hub as well. And it makes the navigation through these platforms very, very quick and easy. And so they're all kind of, it's almost like you kind of school gate. You come in through the school portal and you sort of are directed to the right place to go. So we curate that very carefully. In terms of the metaverse, that's something that we've been very interested in. Obviously, one of the things that you can now do in virtual reality is bring students together into a sort of mock physical space. So you can do things like science experiments virtually. You can do language practice. So for our MFL learners, they can go perhaps into a restaurant setting and order the food and have these conversational things in role play situations, which are very realistic and actually brilliant for immersion. But we've been developing a metaverse school as part of Inspired Education, and so we can bring students together all around the world. And we had a masterclass recently where we brought students from five different countries, all the way from sort of Mexico through to the Bahamas, through to Switzerland, and had them all together in one space, learning together. And it's really great, a good way of sharing access to really high quality teachers.
So this real sense of community and a global community.
Yes, the global aspect of it is very important for us. Our values are very much rooted in an international mindset and sharing the benefits and diversity of that with the entire community. So we are a very diverse school group, and it's one of the things that students really enjoy. Their classmates, they're not geographically next to them usually. They're usually all around the world, which makes for an exciting learning experience.
And what about the parents? Because when families move, often they're looking to extend their network or be able to find a new sense of home and place and meet new people. How does the school engage or support that, and also probably feedback to the parents what's going on at the school?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the strengths we've got now is that we've got a large community online, and so we actually do have a presence in a huge number of areas around the world. So we connect our parents together. They use a variety of ways of doing it, but social networking is the main one. We join them together, and they have small groups set up that are geographically bound. So we'll have a sort of a call out for, have we got any parents near us here in, whether it's Barcelona or somewhere similar, and actually then the parents will sort of kind of contribute, start talking, create that kind of network of like-minded individuals, and then they arrange meetups. So we do see quite a lot of physical meetups from families around the world, and it's a really nice way of finding some local connections when you are just arriving somewhere new. I think we had about 70 or so different areas covered by people meeting up informally. And it's one of the really, really lovely aspects of it, is that you're just connecting together families who otherwise may not meet, but it's a really lovely thing to do.
And for the children themselves socialising, I understand that they also get opportunities to physically meet up as well.
Absolutely. So one of the things people can sometimes sort of miss with online education is that physical meetup. So we try and provide as many trips and experiences as we can as well. We've just come off the back of a whole range of them in the UK where we had lots of different year groups meeting up and coming together. It's absolutely fantastic to see that socialisation. We have a really big clubs offer. The clubs are included within the tuition fees, and so we have about 80 clubs that happen each week, where students come together, and it could be just an interest or a passion they've got that they want to share and talk about, or it may be the actual club itself is a competitive club and something that they compete in. So a big range of things there. But we also have kind of controlled and safe spaces within the school for social interaction. We have a sort of monitored version of a social network for students, so they can just talk to each other and try and avoid the isolation that can come with, either A, being online, or B, being geographically sort of on the go. That fear of not having friends in a new place is something that we try and address for them. One of the things that we find said to us quite often by students is how easy they find it to concentrate in lessons, because often distractions have been removed. So, in the typical classroom, some students can find that sensory overload with noise, with other students, with just lots of distractions. So actually online in many cases can be a very calm learning experience, can be a very structured one, and can really help some students to thrive in that way. So we have a wide range of SEN supports for students, additional services or kind of help that they can access. And our teachers are fully trained in all aspects of our SEN provision. So they know how to adapt their learning to the learner in the classroom. But just the way in which we've structured our online learning can often be in and of itself something that reduces stress, reduces anxiety for students, and means they can really concentrate on the important aspect, which is the learning itself.
And then there are also students who benefit from an online education because they've got a particular passion or talent that means normal school hours may not suit them. So I think you've got some very interesting young people joining the school recently. You've shared with us before about.
Absolutely. We've got a huge range of students who are incredibly talented. So we've got students, for example, Amari McQueen. He's an award-winning TV chef. He's still very, very young to do it. But he's a vegan chef with his own TV show and CBBS and CBBC. Does an absolutely fantastic job of that. But clearly, in terms of going to school, it's very difficult to match that with his filming schedule and with everything else that he has going on. And this is the case for lots of our students. They will have a passion, or they're very successful in something outside of traditional school, but being online and being flexible about when the lessons happen means they can still attend, they can still keep learning and have that education that they deserve, but in a flexible way that fits around them. So we're very, very pleased and proud to be able to support students like Amari. But as I say, the key thing about King's InterHigh is the flexibility. It really does remove some of those barriers for families that exist in the different situations they find themselves in.
Yes, of course, talented young musicians, sports people, drama, etc. There's a way of going forward. And of course, you've been talking also about the Southeast Asia and the time zones there. But of course, there's incredible technology and developments going on in that part of the world. And I've heard that very often young people have a complete side life on the technology side that they're busily developing, as well as their traditional curriculum and learning. So tell us a bit more about some of the individuals.
It's a huge range, Fiona. So we've got Anna Hersey, who's a Commonwealth medalist who does an absolutely brilliant job with her sport, but at the same time has managed to keep her education going incredibly well. I think the key message for families watching this, if parents are interested in thinking about whether or not this works, is to reach out and contact us, because actually we have lots of people available to speak to people on the phone and really talk through the kind of nuts and bolts of how it could work for them, because the core word for us is flexibility. That's the thing that we base our education ethos around, so that it can work in a wide range of settings.
And I think increasingly that's what parents are looking for in these sort of unsettled times when companies are regrowing and exploring different markets around the world. So thank you very much, Ashley, for joining us today. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention?
No, thank you, Fiona. That was an absolute pleasure to have a chance to talk to you and to share this with families watching. No, really enjoyed having a chat and sharing a little bit about what we do. If anyone's interested, do come to the website at kingsinterhigh.co.uk and come and find out more about what we can offer.
That's brilliant. Well, we'll look forward to hearing more later on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Fiona.
So we've been speaking to Ashley Harrold today, CEO of Inspired Online Schools. And there were details about him there. And as he said, please get in touch with the school with any queries. I'm Fiona Murchie, Managing Editor of Relocate Global and Think Global People. And we have brought this series of webinars together to support families and employees, managing families and relocation professionals to help settle families around the world. And online education is certainly an excellent solution. Here are the details of how to get in touch with King's InterHigh. And please do dip into the range of resources we have available in the autumn and spring. We have our International Virtual Education and Schools Fair. We have our online education and schools guides, country guides, and of course frequent articles and news across the website. There's an education supplement and newsletter regularly, and of course you can join us at live events and virtual events throughout the year.